What is up, guys? It's Brillymister here and welcome to today's video. If you do enjoy the video, then don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment and subscribe, and hit all the links up down below to Twitch and Discord. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a good one. It is my top 5 most iconic RuneScape bosses over the years, all the way from the start till present day. So yeah, enjoy the video, guys. It's going to be a good one, and I hope you do enjoy it. As always with these top 5 videos, I want to get a little disclaimer out of the way first. This is just my personal opinion on what I think is the top 5 most iconic bosses. Obviously you can't make a definitive factual list, but I'd really love to know what some of you guys think, so I'd love to see some of your top 5s in the comments down below. Anyway guys, let's get on with the video. So the first one up on my list, and still claiming a fairly respectable 5th place on the iconic list, is Araxor and Araxi. They were first released on July 2014. And upon release it was one of, if not the hardest boss at the time. It was updated in 2020 so that bottom path now took a little bit less time. You only had to hit the wall once rather than twice. They just reduced the wall's hit points. And they reduced the amount of time between times when he comes down and charge. So if you mess up, you'll have to wait less time to unmess up again. Araxor, still to this day, is a pretty decent boss that people still go and do, and it's still fairly challenging. It's sort of like a mid to high level boss now. It's not right up the high end like it was when it was released, but it's still decently challenging, and there's still a number of players out there that can't or struggle to kill it still. So one of the things that stopped me putting it a little bit further up the list as more of like an actual icon is it's kind of like lack of story around it almost. Not like some of the other bosses which are quite heavily tied into quests and a lot of the like base lure around the game. Arax is kind of like a standalone sort of on his side and is not really linked directly or indirectly too much to any of the other bosses or anything, so it's a little bit sort of more standalone and not directly involved with the main sort of storyline to become a true icon, but it still sits nicely in 5th position on the list. So next up it is the Corporal Beast. So this was initially released in September 2008 and it required the completion of Summer's End quest and a pre-request to that as well. When it came out, Spirit Shields, especially the Divine and the Elysian, which were the ones that initially had the, they had slightly different to each other, but they were damage negating effects, and they instantly became the best shields in game. They were often paired with like chaotic longswords or a chaotic rapier whilst doing sort of PVM things once Dungeoneering came out, and before that they were paired with like a whip or something similar. There was a bug in 2011 when Jagex did the first Ring of Wealth and Rare Drop Table update, and it caused it to have 100% sigil drop if you are in loot share, and lots and lots of sigils came into the game. It was hotfixed within a few hours, but no rollbacks were done, so all of the ones that came into the game stayed in the game. And to add to the price and just the general how expensive they were of an item compared to everything else in their day, they were very, very rare. They were like a 1 in 2,000 to 1 in 2,500 drop rate, so they were very hard to come by as well. When Corp came out, it was the hardest boss in the game, and lots of people tried to spend a lot of time trying to solo it and get solos on it. And it's how a player called Wooks sort of came to the forefront of the game, and a lot of you probably will still recognise his name now. I believe he's still active on old school RS doing all kinds of PBM madness. The same as he's always done, but yeah. So now we are on to the top 3, and well, in 3rd place is Telos. So Telos was initially released in June 2016, and upon release it was the hardest solo boss in the game. And to this day it retains that position. The next thing that's looking likely like it might upset it as the hardest solo boss is when they release Godwall's Dungeon 3, and then a little bit after that they normally will release the sort of 5th boss that sort of goes in the middle, which is generally a very hard soloable boss. For example, Godwall's Dungeon 1, we had Nex, which for its day was hard, and then for Godwall's Dungeon 2 we had Telos, which is still pretty hard to this day. It was pretty unique on release as its drop rate and its difficulty were affected by Enrage. Araxor had its difficulty affected by Enrage previous, but that had no effect on the drop rate, whereas this one did. Streaking it and killing it at higher Enrage's effect meant you had a much greater chance of getting a rare drop. On 4k Enrage, which is its maximum Enrage, you can get hit for up to 20,000 damage on an auto attack and 50,000 damage from a so much power. This is from Wikipedia, as you can probably tell from the backing footage. I am definitely not a Telos expert, and I've got nowhere near 4k Enrage. It's still a very challenging boss now. There's a lot of people that still struggle or cannot kill it altogether. I'm one of those people. I struggle to kill it. I can kill it, but I cannot kill it very well. I can get to like just past 100 in rage, and that's pretty much my limit. This is just a 0 in rage kill that I did as well, just for the the backing footage of this. I got like 20 KC, but like to the day, it's held up very, very well, and its drops have held up in its value very, very well as well. Being the tier 92s, and some of them like the SGB are still over 1.5 bill now, which is pretty good for a boss that's like 5 or 6 years old now. So the runner-up and in second place on this list is Nex. Nex was initially released in January 2011, and I remember it well. It was, on release, the hardest boss in the game, and the first thing, other than a joke boss in Dungeoneering, to have a combat level of over 1,000. The other thing was it's like the Ferret of Doom in one of the Dungeoneering things, had a combat level of 9,001, but you didn't actually have to fight it, so it was all good. On release, it dropped the best in slot armor, and that was the Torva, Pernix, and Virtus armors. And Nex itself is now involved in multiple quests and different lines of lore. It's directly involved in the World Waits quest and Fate of the Gods. It's still relevant as a boss today for actually killing, as its drops, the Pernix, Torva, and Virtus, are directly involved in the creation of tier 92 armors. So they still maintain a good value today, although it has become considerably easier. On release, it wasn't really soloable, it was more of a group boss and was often done in sort of trios and 4-mans. And there was an FC as well that did 24/7 Nex masses basically, so almost everybody could access it in some way, even if it was just going to a mass. Later on in RuneScape's timeline, Nex AOD released, and it's kind of referred to as like a hard mode Nex, and it has a similar kind of boss fight with the 4 minions and all of that sort of stuff, and the Reavers, but it is a little bit different and a completely different boss. But it's the first boss in RuneScape to sort of have almost like a sort of sequel kind of thing to it, which is pretty cool in itself. And here we are, it is the winner. This isn't most profitable bosses, this is not most enjoyable bosses, this is most iconic bosses. It was only ever going to be the King Black Dragon. It was released in September 2002, so it's nearly 20 years old now, which is pretty crazy. It has changed a fair bit over the years and had various different updates and stuff to it, especially the fact that it came out originally in Classic, I believe. It's involved in a lot of lore and a lot of quests. It's in Curse of the Blackstone quest, and he's also involved in the One of a Kind quest as well, and also has a little appearance in A Tale of Two Cats. He is like the original RuneScape boss, basically. He's the one that you think of and takes you all the way back to your childhood, and is the iconic RuneScape boss. The only caveat to that is it's very easy now. As you can see here from me killing this, it basically just crumbles in a few seconds. Although, as a sort of funny side caveat to that, it does still kill a lot of hardcore Iron Men. I do see a pretty substantial amount of hardcore Iron Men death broadcasts, all involving the King Black Dragon. So I guess it shows that even in 2021, King Black Dragon is still to be feared. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy this video. It was a very enjoyable one to make. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for all my future content. And if you'd like to, there are links in the description to Twitch and to Discord. Until next time, guys, see ya.